This one's gonna be fun. What is your favorite album by White Reaper? How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Jakey's Music Corner, where I talk about all my favorite rock, alternative, indie, pop, blah music. I'm back today with another top 5 video, and I'm super stoked about this one. Today we're focusing on easily one of my favorite rock bands out there doing it right now. The amazing and badass White Reaper from Louisville, Kentucky. I hate saying the name of that city, but it birthed some great rock and roll. If you don't know White Reaper, don't even watch this video. Click off and go listen to their music. I promise you it's 100% more important than my opinions on it. However, if you do know White Reaper, then you probably know they just released their 5th album called Only Slightly Empty, September 26th on Blue Great Music, which means new music, which is always great, but it also means they now have 5 albums out, which means... Hey, that's right, I'm going to attempt to rank these 5 great rock and roll records by this amazing rock and roll band. I am going to say right now, this one's going to be hard because this is a band that I do genuinely think gets better and better with every release, and they're a consistent enough band that I just like the overall sound that they make. So this is going to kind of be like ranking 5 different apples for me, and this is a list that nothing's going to get left out on either. So I'm stoked. I love this band. Let's go ahead and get into my top 5 albums by White Reaper. All right, so let's get into it. Number 5. World's Best American Band. This is their 2nd full-length album. It's a fresh take on rock music, blending garage rock and 80s glam rock sensibilities. There's a lot of great ones on here. Judy French, Eagle Beach, Little Silver Cross. Daisies is also an underrated classic that I feel like they kind of realized recently and have started to play live more recently, which is sick because that song rules. I think the song Tell Me is kind of boring, but I guess that's my only negative note. I loved this album when it came out, don't get me wrong, but for the sake of this list and when I was listening back over everything now that the new album's out, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it at the bottom. Because even though this album rocks, I truly believe that they have 4 albums that are just that much better. So with that, let's go ahead and get into my number 4. White Reaper does it again. This is their first full-length album, and it's basically stacked top to bottom with catchy, fuzzy power pop classics such as Make Me Wanna Die, I Don't Think She Cares, Pills, as well as darker ones like Friday the 13th or Wolf Trap Hotel. 4th of July is another good one. Sheila Rocks. I could go on and on, but I'll stop there. It was recorded with their friend Kevin Ratterman, but
where I do not know.
Last time I saw them live, they actually randomly whipped out Don't You Think I Know from this album, which was cool for a nerd like me. Not sure if you can see, but Don't You Think I Know? It's just a very cohesive and fun garage rock album. Also, fun fact, that is ex-bassist Sam Wilkerson in the Reaper costume on the front, and that's his brother Nick's hand on the steering wheel. For a debut album, this is appropriately titled, as I do find myself saying this exact phrase after every album they put out, and that was of course no different when this next album came out. Number 3, You Deserve Love. This one takes a pretty big step up in production, and the songs are quite a bit more hooky. This one was produced by Jay Joyce, who's done stuff for The Wallflowers, Emmylou Harris, Cage the Elephant. He also did 2 by Fiddlar. They also released this album on Elektra Records, which kind of propelled them into more of the mainstream. They had a radio hit with Might Be Right. So with that, it's a more polished sound, but it does still retain those signature vocal hooks and the epic guitar solos that they love to do. I love 1F, I love Raw, I love Eggplant. Ring is a classic that they play live a lot now. So yeah, this album rules if you want some rock with a little bit more of a pop shimmer on it. Now we're getting down to the big final 2. This is where I am going to throw a bit of another curveball here. Number 2, the new album, Only Slightly Empty. This album sees 2 core members departing from the band, and the album was also released on a smaller label, Blue Great Music. Despite all that turmoil, though, the other dudes were still able to crank out a banger of a new album. It almost sounds like the other 2 members didn't leave. I'm pretty sure they did play on at least some of this stuff, but still, it sounds like classic White Reaper, and this one's actually their most emotional lyrically to date. In the past, I know they've written lyrics more based off fictional stories, or they kind of just do like a pass the notebook thing around in the studio, and just kind of like take turns writing cool lines. This one sounds a lot more personal lyrically. It actually sounds like it deals with some themes of loss, grief, heartbreak, stuff like that. For example, I love the main sentiment of the song Touch. The lyrics, you can always look back, but you can't touch. That's just like the best way to put that feeling into words. The music also does a fantastic job of backing these messages up. It's definitely one of their more darker records, if not their darkest. As much as that sucks to go through, I do think there's something cool about that, and I think every artist needs to go through something like that to crank out some good art. Anyway, besides all that stuff, a couple of songs like Freak Show, which was actually the first song written for the record, and Pocket, kind of harken back to those like Poppy or You Deserve Love days. And then there's also darker stuff on here like Touch or Blue 42. Enemy John's another darker, slower one too. This album rips. I just think with losing the members and all that stuff, I don't think it's quite peaked for the band as a whole, but it's definitely one of my albums of the year, and I think you should definitely go listen to it. With that being said, there's only 1 album left on this one, so I can't really build up much suspense. You know what it is. Number 1, Asking for a Ride. Dude, this album fucking rocks. This is just the one for me. It has the best production in my opinion. It kicks the most ass right off the bat. Those first 3 songs, come on. And just as a whole, it just sounds the most original, for a lack of a better term. These songs just have a certain flavor to them that I just love. I had this thing on repeat when it came out too for at least 2 to 3 weeks straight. This one was actually recorded with another big-time producer first, and then it was scrapped and redone in Nashville mostly by the band, just because of typical differences in how they wanted it to sound. I'm pretty sure this big-time producer wanted them to stay in that poppier direction, and they kind of wanted to go off into a heavier direction. For this album, I will have to favor the latter. I will say, though, when Pages was released as the first single, I did think this was the album they were finally going to start introducing some acoustic stuff, but if anything, that was just like a major troll, as this is their hardest-sounding album to date, I think. Boy, oh boy, I finally did it. That one's hard, dude. That one's like choosing children. But anyway, that's my top 5 album list by White Reaper. Again, definitely go check this band out if you haven't heard of them, but if you have, then I trust that you properly know how to music. But yeah, that's about it for me in this video. Let me know what your list is looking like down below. Let me know why my list is great, why my list sucks. I'm delighted to hear your thoughts either way. I also just came out with my own new album. It's called Delicious. It's out wherever you stream music, so please go check that out. 10 fun-ass bedroom pop songs that I spent years working on and finishing, and they're finally out, so please go check that stuff out. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned.